Heyo, welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I am your interdimensional BDSM leather-bound co-host, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week of Bloodhouse. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good. I got a new car this week.
Bye-bye Fiat?
Bye-bye Fiat. So you and I, the last time we hung out, you came up to my car because you needed to tell me something. You knocked on the driver's side, and I tried to unroll the window, and it wouldn't come down, so I just opened the door. Cut to 10 minutes later, I'm flying down the 101 at like 10 p.m., and then the window unrolls. Fully 10 minutes later.
That's not good.
And also, I hear glass shattering inside the car door as it does that. And then, of course, the window is toast. But I was planning on getting a new car anyway, but that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, I have to get a new car. So it's like a mom car. It's a Subaru, which literally is the car that my mom has.
It's very lesbian coded of you. It's very granola gay.
I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I like the outdoors as much as anybody. My mom has had only Subarus for literally 30 years. So I was like, I'm just going to get a Subaru. Like, why fight it any longer? I'm in my 40s. It's time to become a middle-aged lesbian. And I'm really happy with it.
Good, I'm glad. Like, is it like a hatchback? Is it the full, like, let's go camping?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yep, it's a Subaru Impreza in the new blue. There's a new blue that they have. That's really nice. So not a lot of cars have that yet. Yeah, so
a limited edition.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I just got over a really nasty cold.
Me too. Everyone in LA is sick. It's crazy.
It hit me on my birthday.
Yeah.
The day before my birthday, I was like wrapping presents for people, and I was like getting like nice and cozy my little like elf workshop that is my like little studio. And then I was like, oh, did I turn the heat on or something?
Yeah.
I feel like a wave hitting me. And then I like walked downstairs and I was like, oh no, I know that feeling. Oh fuck, oh shit, oh god. And then I woke up the next day on my birthday feeling like ass, and I was like, you son of a bitch, god fucking. I had like all these things planned.
Yeah.
And in the days before, I'd gone out and I'd like driven around town and got like a lot of my favorite food from different restaurants to have like on my birthday and the days after, like nice like appetizers and desserts and like meals, like so I would have to be able to stay home and have cozy birthday, but also be able to have good food that I only have like once a year. And I was sick for an entire week. I lost my voice for 3 days.
God.
All of that food spoiled and I had to throw it all out.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Very upsetting. But thankfully the upside was that I was able to like catch up on movies. I was able to get cozy. I like feel like for the past 6 months I've been complaining that like all I want to do is like have time off to do nothing and lay on the couch and like watch movies and just like nap. And the fucking monkey's paw finger curled and gave me a fucking heinous, like, full body cold and shivers and 3 days of a fever. And was like, is that enough for you, bitch?
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I watch good movies, I guess.
Good. I got a cold too right after you, but mine wasn't as bad as all that. I do the thing where like I tell myself for like 2 or 3 days that it's allergies until I finally can't tell myself that anymore. And I always do that. I don't know. I'm
still coughing a little bit. I like everyone that I know, it's like been in and out of them in like 2 or 3 days, and like they have a headache, some sinus trouble, and like maybe a fever, and they're fine. I had that for the first day, and then by the second day, I had one of the worst sore throats of my life. Like I couldn't even drink orange juice or cranberry juice. Things like that were too acidic. Like I couldn't talk. I had to be like sign language with my girlfriend, and like it was bad. I'm still coughing a little bit, but I'm like, I got my voice back at least. I can like eat solid foods again. I'm not sleeping on the couch. I'm like not sweating my fucking body off all the time. So
what did you watch that's good?
Well, I was able to like I basically just set up shop with the Criterion channel.
Yeah.
And got cozy on the couch. I finally watched Josie and the Pussycats.
Mm-hmm.
I
Great
watched
movie.
Spice World earlier this year, so I had to like round it out and finish it.
Yeah.
I loved Josie and the Pussycats.
It's great. It's legitimately great.
It's legitimately great. I finally watched The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock with Barbara Steele. I've rewatched Brief Encounter one morning on the couch. I finally watched Richard Linklater's Suburbia.
Yep.
Just okay.
It's okay. Suburbia is a movie that was really huge in my teen years for me.
Yes.
But the movie from the 80s that's called Suburbia, I think is better. The Penelope Spheris movie is way better.
I agree. I finally watched Hollywood Shuffle. I really knocked a lot off my list and felt good about it. But then the minute that I didn't feel like ass and I felt like I could breathe, I put on a mask, I put on actual clothes, and I got myself down to the local AMC and I went and saw Yorgos Lanthimos' new movie, Poor Things.
Ugh,
and then 2 days later, I went again.
I can't wait to see this movie.
I've seen it twice now.
You said it's your favorite of the year.
It's my favorite of the year. So, yeah, I had seen something else right before I got sick that I was like, favorite of the year. I can't believe something beat out Ennis Main and Scorsese.
Which I'm going to guess is what I'm going to talk about, but go on.
Quite possibly. And then as soon as I saw Poor Things, I was like, no, it's Poor Things. It's so
Yorgos has never steered me wrong. I haven't seen it yet. I'm dying to, but I love every Yorgos Lanthimos movie I've ever seen.
So my partner loves The Favorite. Also loved the TV show that's connected to The Favorite, The Great. Mm-hmm. And loves what she's seen of Yorgos. Was so excited to see it. Loved Poor Things so much that we then went to go see it 2 or 3 days later. And in between that, I showed her Killing of a Sacred Deer, which we obviously talked about on this show.
Yeah, very
she had never seen before. And she loved it.
Love it. I love that movie.
She was laughing every 2 minutes at Killing of a Sacred Deer, as if it was a stoner comedy from the 90s. And I was like, that's the right response.
It is. And also, I mean, the lobster is so funny too. I mean,
yeah.
I just
Poor
love
Things
Yorgos.
is hilarious. Poor Things is hilarious. It's beautiful. It's moving. It's got some of the best performances of the year. And it reminds me so much of Buñuel and Fassbinder and Ken Russell in all the best ways. It's playing with a Frankenstein kind of narrative, but it's doing it through a kind of picaresque Gothic novel form. It reminds me of Belle de Jour, of Tristana, of Viridiana, those great Buñuel movies from the 60s. And it has Hannah Shigula from The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant and The Marriage of Maria Braun as one of the single most important characters in the movie, who has a lot of screen time. And she's incredible. She gets one of the biggest laughs of the whole movie. It's so exciting to see Fassbinder actors in this alongside fucking Mark Ruffalo and Emma Stone and Jared Carmichael and Rami Youssef and shit. Willem Dafoe is under so much prosthetic to be the kind of Dr. Frankenstein of the narrative, and he's incredible. Your boy from Sanctuary and Girls, Chris Abbott is in it.
Heaven.
In an incredible performance. It's really, really, really good. The costumes are lush and incredible and wild. The cinematography, if you've seen The Favorite, the cinematography is very close to what Yorgos and Robbie Ryan were doing in that, with a lot of crazy fish eyes and stuff like that. It's beautiful. It was the first feature to be shot on a new Kodak Ektachrome 35 millimeter, and it looks so close to Technicolor. It's really, really impressive.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I hear
the choreography's great. It's amazing.
I hear whisperings of Oscars about Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo are really the two performance standouts that everyone is gobsmacked by, and they're right. I will also say, because it's got some prestige to it, and it's coming out in Oscar window, which is also holiday season, if you are going home and you're spending time with family and someone says, let's go to the theater and see Poor Things, don't go with your mom. Don't go with your family.
Okay.
There's a lot of sex.
Oh, okay.
It really feels like Yorgos saw all of those tweets of people complaining that they don't like to see sex in movies anymore.
Oh,
and he said, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Hold my Greek beer. It's incredible. I loved it so much. I can't recommend it highly enough.
I definitely have to see that before the end of the year. But I was going to guess, so was your number one movie until Poor Things May, December?
Yes, it was.
Yes!
Oh, yes, it was. I
love May, December so much. That's what I wanted to talk about, because I went to an early screening of it, actually. So I got to see it in the theater before it hit Netflix. I loved it so much. For me, Todd Haynes is kind of hit or miss. I mostly hit, but there have been a couple of misses for me.
I've not experienced a miss by Todd Haynes.
What was the kids movie that he made?
Wonderstruck. I haven't seen Wonderstruck.
Wonderstruck was the only miss for me. I was like,
I haven't seen it. For me. I want to give it a shot. I've been told that I'm a big fan of Martin Scorsese's Hugo, and I've been told by people that if you like Hugo, you'll like Wonderstruck.
I like Hugo, but don't like Wonderstruck. And
Interesting.
And to me, it felt like, oh, this is like a worse Hugo. You know, like, so I love Todd Haynes except for that movie. I loved this so much. It felt like it just felt so funny and weird. And there's been a lot of interesting conversations around it on the internet because Todd Haynes came out and said that he didn't think it was camp. And it's nominated for comedy, which seems to perplex people.
At the Golden Globes, which is its own fucking weird can of worms.
Yeah. But I actually thought it was really funny. And having seen it in a theater, there was a lot of laughter and I thought it was funny. And I wanted to get your take on this because I can see why he would say that he doesn't think it's camp, but my take is that like this is doing old school melodrama like Douglas Sirk or whatever.
Yes.
And I feel like most people don't have that in their vocabulary as something to reach to. So the closest thing is to say camp, which it isn't technically, but like it's definitely funny on purpose. You know?
Has moments of funny on purpose. There's Corey Michael Smith is incredible in it. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
He has a few moments that are like cringe funny that he feels like he's stepping out of The Curse or like Nathan For You.
Yeah.
And some scenes that he's in. And there's been much discussed around a hot dog related scene at the beginning of the movie.
What a great scene.
Which does have like a tension relieving laugh to it. I personally didn't laugh during May December. I saw it in theaters. I don't find it very funny. The parts of it that elicited a laugh for me were out of like disbelief and tension.
Okay.
Because there's like a point where like one person is like, I don't want to talk about this. That was a scandal 20 years ago. I don't want to hear anything about that. And then immediately goes, but I do have this laminated newspaper. And then I'm like, oh, you mother, like, there's a lot of those, like, oh, these fucking people. I know these fucking people.
I don't think it's a comedy per se.
Yeah,
but I do think there are moments that are intentionally funny, like the hot dog moment. Yeah. I think all the stuff about Natalie Portman's TV show, which is called Nora's Ark, where you only get little clues about it, where someone's like, I loved you on Nora's Ark. I saw that episode where you had to do surgery on an elephant. So you get like little hints about the terrible TV show she's on. So there are things like that I think are genuinely meant to be funny. And then come on, their lisp. Like in my house for 2 weeks, we've been saying, are you scared? Or precisely.
We've been doing the Gracie lisp a little bit. But I don't find it in the context of, I find it funny outside of the context of the movie. In the movie, while watching the movie, I didn't find the lisp funny. I found the lisp terrifying.
I found it funny even in the context of the movie. But there are moments of this movie that are just like heart-shattering and deeply felt. So it's not like those are in conflict for me, but yeah.
For me, tonally, this movie, again, like it's high-key melodrama. And we don't, like, in 2023, 2024, America don't have a, like, visual lexicon for that anymore other than parodies of that.
Right.
Which is a shame. More people should be watching Michael Curtiz movies. More people should be watching Douglas Sirk movies. But like the thing that this is like the closest to, which is a lot of Todd Haynes' career, is Fassbinder. Like the tone of this reminded me a lot of like Chinese Roulette with Margit Carstensen, or The Marriage of Maria Braun, or he's or Bitter Tears Better from Kent. He does such a great job of pairing together characters that are reprehensible and who do horrible things to one another and just like sicking them on each other. And he's willing to let it be as dark as it needs to be, and he's willing to let like the shock of the darkness like allow like tense bubbles of comedy to pop up. Martha is a great example of that. There's a sunburn scene that is one of the most like fucking reprehensible, vile things you'll ever see in a movie, but like gets a shock laugh out of you at points. That's like what May December feels like to me. May December is also like brilliantly scripted by Sammy Burge. It's like
the script is excellent.
She and Todd like really thread the needle on the tonal balance of the movie and on like the elliptical nature of the characters and of the story. Speaking of Oscar buzz, though, Charles Melton's performance is
wonderful.
Insane.
Just a Riverdale guy. He's Reggie from Riverdale. Like, who knew? But he's extraordinary in this.
My favorite thing is there's been a lot of like promo stuff lately of like him and Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore like doing interviews about it. And at one of them, an interview asked the group of them if Natalie and Julianne had seen any of Charles's work before this movie, and if they'd specifically watched Riverdale, to which you then get a very slow Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore going, no, we're sorry, but no.
Sorry, Riverdale is an unwatchable show.
No way in hell Julianne Moore is watching Riverdale. Charles Melton's incredible, though. And I've heard from friends that are like, it's insane that the prospect that the first person that Todd Haynes might get someone to direct someone to an Oscar is a man and not Julianne Moore.
It is kind of wild.
I saw him say that he went and did everything he could to like gain a bunch of weight for it, saying that like all he did was like Todd wrote him a list of movies for reference, and like he's like, I just went out and got a burrito every day. I ate a burrito and I watched a Douglas Sirk movie and I watched a Bergman movie and I watched a Fassbinder movie, and that's all I did. I watched Wong Kar-wai movies. And I'm like, that's the fucking life, dude. Yeah. If that gets you an Oscar, fuck yeah.
Yeah. It was so great.
He's heartbreaking. It's so good. I've been trying to get my mom to watch it because it's on Netflix.
Well, I'll tell your mom to watch it when I'm in Carmel taking her hot yoga class in like 2
Too
weeks.
bad she's coming here in a week for Christmas.
I'm so happy for you that that's happening.
Yeah, but she'll be here around Christmas. Me. If you're going to be in Indiana post Christmas, like December 26th,
I will be. I get there the 26th.
Oh, okay. Then then she'll be back by that point. She leaves on the 25th.
All right, Patty, I'm coming for your hot yoga class.
You two can discuss May December in full together.
Yeah, I'm going to quiz her to make sure she watched it when I get there.
Can I just really quickly, what did you think of the score in May December?
I loved it. I loved the like melodramatic stings, like, I'm afraid we don't have any hot dogs. You know, like
the score is so good. I think it's brilliant. I think more modern films should have that kind of a score. It's like quoting and is mostly lifted from Michel Legrand's score for the 1972 movie The Go-Between by Joseph Losey.
Oh, that makes sense. It does feel like Legrand.
Yeah, it felt like very old school while I was watching it. I was like, what composer did this? This is crazy. And then the end credits come up and it says, score from the movie The Go-Between by Michel Legrand. And I was like, oh, that's why.
That makes a lot of sense. That's so cool.
Yeah. Ivory and I both loved it so much that we saw that Netflix was sending out, like, for your consideration, like, marketing campaigns to critics and stuff that included, like, a book of, like, the screenplay and a book that accompanies the Todd Haynes exhibit at the Museum of Moving Image in New York, and like a recipe book for Grey Thief pineapple upside down cake, and like a shirt that says a film by Todd Haynes or like directed by Todd Haynes in the font. And we wanted one so bad that I went on eBay and I bought someone's like FYC kit, and it just got here the other day. And like, we also got Poor Things merch at the screening we went to. So all week we've been walking around and like matching Poor Things in May December shirts.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Did you see the screen grab of the May December script, the hot dog moment? Because it's like, it's literally like she opens the refrigerator and says, "I'm afraid there won't be any hot dogs." And
I don't think we have enough hot dogs. And then it's like hard cut to Charles Melton on the grill, and this like the slug line says, "There are so many hot dogs." I now have this script in my home, and then as soon as we got that, I opened it up to like page 3 and pulled up to that.
It's so good.
Brilliant. I love that movie.
Speaking of so good, we're here to talk about an art house horror 101 that both of us love dearly. And that movie is, of course, written and directed by Clive Barker from 1987, Hellraiser. I don't remember when I first saw this movie. I'm, a child of the 80s video store who always loved horror movies. So I just I don't know a time in my life when this wasn't in my periphery. How about you?
That's amazing. I vividly remember the first time I saw Hellraiser because it wasn't until I was in college. It was one that I had heard about my entire life, and of course, like in the like visual language of 80s horror, you have like very specific killers and the looks of them. And Pinhead and the laminate configuration cube are very iconic, up there with Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers. And so I always like lumped it in with those, but it never like played on TV like those did. Yeah. So I watched those as like a 14-year-old or whatever. And then I, when I was getting more into movies and stuff like that, I would see like Hellraiser at Blockbuster and the library and stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, I get it. It's just one of those, but it's like he's got pins in his face or something. Whatever."
Yeah.
But I had a stepfather when I was in high school and around the time that I left for college, who was in like a new wave band in the 80s that didn't go very far, but they opened for Flock of Seagulls, and he was cool. Like, yeah, I had a signed Flock of Seagulls LP from him. And like, he like painted a little bit, and he was obsessed with Salvador Dali and like surrealism, had a lot of like art books in the house and stuff like that, which was great. Not a great dude, kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Did not treat my mom well, did not treat me well. However, his favorite movies ever were like The Dark Knight and Highlander, and that's like all he would ever want to watch. He would sleep through anything else.
Yikes.
But he like did his own like in the 80s and 90s did his own paintings, and a lot of them were like very Dali inspired, but had a lot of like meat hooks and chains in them, and a lot of like nude men. And I was like, it's like some gay BDSM stuff.
What's this about?
What the fuck? And I was back home from college around Halloween for like a weekend. And my mom was like, oh, after dinner, let's put on a horror movie. And I was like, I'm not going to be the one to choose a horror movie to put on with my mother. I'm not going to put on The Brood or something like that. I don't want to catch the flack of whatever response is going to be. And my stepdad was flipping through Netflix, and he was like, oh, Hellraiser's on here. I love Hellraiser. You have to watch Hellraiser. And I was like, okay. So I watched Hellraiser for the first time at like 18 or 19 with my mother and my stepfather. Very weird experience.
Yeah.
It made a big impact on me. I liked it a whole hell of a lot more than I expected to, but it was also like not something I was super comfy watching.
Yeah.
In that context. And that might have some impact on why I have a stronger personal connection to the sequel Hellbound. and why I tend to watch that one more and kind of have a deeper affinity for that, but because it's kind of the one that like feels more like mine rather than the one that's Thomas's. But like, fuck, man, watching that at like 19 with no experience, with your mother like sipping wine on the other end of the couch is weird.
Yeah, well, I will say, even though I associate this with all those other 80s horror movies the same way that you do, I didn't like this one as much as those other movies when I was a kid because my taste wasn't good, right? So, like, I preferred the Jason summer camp movies. I think I did like this, but it wasn't, now that I look back, it wasn't until I was, an adult and I rewatched it when I was like, oh, this is a lot better than I took it for as like an 8-year-old, obviously.
Yeah.
And I do get why you prefer the second one more. I do really like the second one. It feels to me, I know that these aren't movies that you specifically don't really like, but it feels to me like Alien and Aliens. Alien is like a very quiet, sophisticated movie that's kind of slow moving, and Aliens is a really fucking good, super fast action horror movie. So Aliens is kind of more fun to watch in some ways than Alien, and it kind of feels the same with the first two Hellraiser movies to me as well, because the first movie's very contained, it's like a very simple story. And if I remember, the sequel, you spend more time in hell, which is crazy. And there's a lot more gore. And Julia's back as like a skin person, which is so fabulous.
Julia's incredible. Julia's my favorite. We'll get into, but Julia's my favorite character in the Hellraiser canon.
Of course, you're only human
for so long.
Yeah,
for now, I love Hellbound because it feels like the most surreal big budget horror movie that was going to be made at all in the 80s. Like, it feels like it shouldn't exist. It does not follow any normal like screenplay logic. It like feels like a grungy little art film. It feels like a Ken Russell movie. It feels like a surrealist painting brought to life with like noodles and hooks and demons inside of it. It's very bizarre, and I love
what
it.
I meant is that it feels like more maximalist than the first movie.
That's fair.
That's
the
like
first movie is kind of like a small chamber gothic drama.
It could almost be a play or something. Almost.
I would love to see a play of Hellraiser. Oh my god.
It would be so good. Synopsis wise, in case you haven't seen this, and I would be shocked if anyone listening to our show hadn't seen this movie. This is about, oh God, where do I start? So this is about a man named Larry and his second wife, Julia, who move back into his childhood home. And Larry's younger brother, Frank, who's like a hedonist and an occultist, has been hiding out there recently. And the younger brother, Frank, had obtained this puzzle box, which when he solved it, the Cenobites appeared, which are demons that are like on the fringes of pain and pleasure, sadomasochistic devils and or angels that take Frank away. And when Larry and Julia move back into the house, Larry accidentally cuts his hand. He bleeds on the attic floor, which starts a process of Frank coming back. Now, what Larry doesn't know is that Julia and his little brother Frank once had an affair in the past and are obsessed with each other. So Julia is present for Frank's return and sort of Little Shop of Horrors style starts helping him come back bit by giving him blood. So she's going out and like tricking these men to come home and sleep with her, and then she's feeding them to Frank so that he gets more and more skin and sinew and bone and stuff. And
it's very eating Raoul. It's very
yeah. Also, Larry has a young daughter named Kirsty, who is maybe like a university student or early 20s who lives in an apartment nearby, and so he's connecting with her. And so she's in the mix, and I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. Do you have anything to amend or change? Or
Ashley Lawrence, who plays Kirsty, kind of develops into our final girl of the franchise as she has to like she gets like institutionalized for a bit and like has to become kind of our heroine against Frank, essentially, Frank and Julia. The thing that I was really taken with when I finally first saw Hellraiser all those years ago, and something that I still find refreshing when I watch, David Bruckner's revival of the Hellraiser franchise from a few years ago with Jamie Clayton and stuff like that, is that I always had a mental image of these movies with the Cenobites as being the villains of the piece.
Yeah,
as
they're
being
not
the
in this movie.
monsters, as being the villain, and they're really not. They're entirely neutral forces.
Yeah.
That just...
And they're barely in this movie, to be honest.
They're barely in this movie. You get like snippets of them later on that like there's a great scene where like a kind of wall falls away and the like denizens of hell start coming out, which is amazing. But you barely get them. It's more about the sinewy, dripping Frank and his sinister plans on Kirsty and on the father, and more about their villainy and more about the lengths that hedonism like destroys a human being.
Yeah. It's a very glamorous movie. I love horror movies that are about posh 40-somethings, and like...
Yeah.
Julia is very chic. She's wearing her 80s like business women's suits with the giant shoulder pads and the eyeshadow. She looks like a Nagel print kind of.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful house. So it's all like very chic and stylish on top of the sort of leather S&M sort of aesthetic that we have in the horror aspect. So highly stylized. It's Clive Barker's first movie as a director. He says it was a great experience. People were very patient with him because he didn't know about lenses and things like this. Just like super stylized, which really sets it apart from a lot of the other 80s movies. I mean, I would say that Nightmare on Elm Street is also surrealist, but it's not quite as sophisticated as this at any point.
No, it's not. And like it's a lot of that like first time like doesn't know the rules kind of filmmaking that Clive Barker brings to this that is so impactful. I mean, we get a lot of like overblown light. We get a lot of like cool blue palettes.
Yeah.
And a lot of like choices that don't feel in a way logical, or that, you'd have 17 studio execs over your shoulder being like, now he doesn't have flesh yet. Should he be wearing a blazer? You're like, no, he looks cool in the blazer when he's all drippy blood. Fuck off.
Well, he did get some pushback from New World executives at various points, but we could talk about that later. But yes, you're right. I think this is a successful movie. I mean, I think he did a great job. And sometimes we can forget that Clive Barker is a very talented visual artist in his own right. He's a painter. So, and you can feel that in his prose work as well. Like he just has such a cinematic eye. So he's kind of a natural for this, is my point, I guess.
It's kind of a shame, and always continues to surprise me, that he only directed all of 3 features.
Yeah.
And I think like almost every single one of his films has a like contentious like director's cut versus other, like Nightbreed, of course, was a very big battle.
Yeah.
And we only recently got the director's cut back. Even Lord of Illusions from 95 had a similar situation. So I can kind of see why someone who, especially who works as a writer and like visual artist, would buck up against the kind of behemoth, like multifaceted aspect of filmmaking, the like amount of people involved and cooks in the kitchen that you have to answer to. I can see how that may have dissuaded him away from that, but it's a real shame because like there's no other movie like the first Hellraiser.
In spite of the pushback from New World and the producers, it feels like this is purely a Clive Barker joint. You know what I mean? I feel his soul in this. It doesn't feel like too interrupted. There's a couple of things that they changed. So he wanted to use music by this like sort of experimental, I guess, industrial, this band Coil. And New World insisted that he replace it with a traditional score, which I have to say I think is the right choice. I think the score is really good here. and
Mm-hmm.
feels classy. And I mean, I'm sure the Coil stuff is good too. And I know that it has been released as a record.
Have you listened to it?
No, I haven't.
It's great. Outside of even the Hellraiser lore, am a fan of Coil.
Yeah.
The film critic and author Stephen Thrower was a member of Coil at the time that they were hired to compose the music for Hellraiser, which is wild as hell. I really like the Coil score. The question of whether or not it works on the movie, I don't know.
Well,
I would love to see a version of the movie recut to it. I don't know if that's something that someone online has done or not. If you have, please
if you're
send
listening
me a link.
and you can do that, please do.
But I feel like it would be entirely too oppressive though for
me too.
I feel like release audience in 87.
So the score was by Christopher Young, who also did A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and the Tobe Hooper film Invaders from Mars. So not great movies,
but gay movies.
Yeah, and also significant in the 80s in the milieu of horror, I guess.
Yeah, so a safe choice from New Line. Not New,
and
New World.
The other thing they did was they decided that it should be American, even though it's British. And so basically everyone in the movie is dubbed over with an American accent, which is wild because, first of all, so the actor who plays Larry and the actress who plays Kirsty are both American. Julia is British and allowed to keep her British accent, but everyone else they plow over with American accents, including Kirsty's boyfriend and all the party guests who for some reason are like, they have like thick New York accents all of a sudden for no reason. It's a choice. It's wild.
It's a strong choice. I like that Julia is the only one who's allowed to keep a British accent because she's the most overt villain.
Yeah, British people are evil.
British people are evil. That's why they make movies like Hellraiser. They're trying to fucking sap and purify our great American soil.
Other than that, there were some shots that they had to cut out to keep it from getting an X rating and letting it have an R rating instead.
The movie's a miracle in so many ways because, from the perspective of a horror author turning into a horror filmmaker directing his first movie, that's tricky territory and does not always go well.
Yeah.
Stephen King is a very good example of why Clive Barker is incredible.
Yes, Stephen
Maximum
King is
Overdrive,
the worst director. Yeah, oy vey, that movie.
Not great.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a miracle that Barker was able to pull this off. It reminds me a lot of, and this is a weird and almost feels like it's too high of an acclaim, it reminds me of Citizen Kane in the way that Orson Welles just was a theater director and was a radio personality and radio director, and then got carte blanche to just make a movie, had no idea what he was doing, had never been on a film set, had no idea about cameras or lenses or anything, and just fucking went off and made whatever he was gonna make. And guess what? It's fucking phenomenal. In the same way that Barker didn't follow the rules, he didn't New World didn't make him sit audit some film school classes.
Yeah.
And it feels unique. It feels like he understands cinematic language. He clearly is a fan of horror films and is a cinephile enough to understand putting together, but he also had a really strong team around him. But also New World wasn't very big.
Yeah.
At the point of this, they would go on to produce the Elvira movie, or release the Elvira movie. It was produced by NBC and Universal. Around the same year, this really put New World on the map. They had just been previously a Roger Corman owned distribution company of tiny exploitation and horror movies. But then also, if you think about the 80s climate of slasher movies, Hellraiser shouldn't have broken out the way it did.
No.
It's really, really
it's
impressive
the quality.
that it did. It's the quality, and
it's sort of undeniable in a way.
Yeah. It's not the kind of thing that you can like write down on a like piece of paper or sell to a like magazine and say it's great because of this. You
Yeah.
simply have to watch the movie.
It's like somebody who has an idiosyncratic vision that you just couldn't write down on a piece of paper and understand. You have to see it. Some critics did say that it has like kind of a goofy third act, which I think is true. I quite like it and I don't mind it, but it does sort of take away from like the sophistication of the movie a little bit.
That's fair.
And I mean that by like it just gets like a bit goopy and gory, which is fine in and of itself. But then there's all these other things. Like there's a runner where there's been this unhoused man that's been following Kirsty around, and we don't quite know who he is. And he at the end he like takes the box away and then turns into a bone bat and flies away. I had to Google it, and I've seen this movie many times. I was like, who is that guy? What is that? And apparently it's like in the cosmology of Clive Barker's work, he's called an eremite, who are like the demon guardians of the puzzle box. But it's like you don't know that watching the movie. If you're just a casual viewer of this movie, you're like,
it's
what
just
the
like
fuck
what?
Is that? Yeah. So there's like weird hiccups like that a little bit where it's like, oh, I don't know if you quite landed that. But that's okay.
That's still the idiosyncrasies that come with like a first time director's first movie.
Yeah.
That I love looking at like Boots Riley's
Sorry to bother you. God, I love
or
that
like
movie
Alex Cox's
so much.
Repo Man. Like there's these little idiosyncrasies in those that like you have like whole non sequitur like sequitur scenes and stuff like that that like wouldn't work in anything else, but because you're giving it the grace and because it has all of these other qualities, you allow it to work for you, even though that on paper it shouldn't work in other contexts. It's also worth discussing the BDSM of it all.
Yes.
This is became a very large mainstream hit, spawned a long-running franchise that is still going to this day and is now owned by Disney.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it is maybe the single most mainstream, especially by 1987, depiction of kink.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of the question of the movie, or the theme, is that pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin, right? Like the Cenobites say, like, some people call us demons, some people call us angels. And Frank has solved this puzzle box, so he's whisked away to this other dimension where he is stretched to the limits of his physical pain, which is also pleasurable in some way. So that's the theme that we're exploring. I love it as an aesthetic and as a tone for a movie. I don't necessarily feel that for myself. Like, I've never quite understood BDSM, but I support it.
Yeah. I am not a pain fan in the least, but I'm a big supporter of the kink community and of BDSM and all that stuff. And I love leather. I love a leather aesthetic. I mean, very
love
much
leather.
Sorry, I always hear the fucking Tobias Fugue line on stuff like that. Something that says "Daddy likes leather."
Yeah. A disciplined daddy.
Gonna spank your behind. But like this is like, this is not like, oh, like whips and chains. We're not having like fucking Peter Fonda like turn around to the camera and go, what have I gotten myself into now? Like, you know, any comedy from the 70s when you have like, oh, the only representation of something like that is like a dominatrix and some kind of like sex worker who like, and that's always shown as like some horrifying aberrant behavior.
Yeah.
It's used as like a shorthand for horror in this, but it is treated with the respect of someone that deals with that community, that is familiar with that community, and Clive Barker being a queer man.
It's super queer, like, I was gonna say.
It's Doug Bradley and Pinhead are presented as like hot. Like,
yeah. And
The
so a lot of the
camera
Cenobites, the
loves him.
woman is hot too. I mean, and it's inherently queer at a time that was like extremely homophobic. And I was about to say that there's nothing else like this, but I just remembered from the composer, Freddy's Dead, or
Yeah.
sorry,
Friday
Nightmare on
2.
Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street
Freddy's
2,
Revenge.
Freddy's Revenge, because I happened to work with Rachel Talalay on an episode of television who
I love her.
produced that movie. She's an incredible director. She directed Tank Girl, and she won a Directors Guild Award for our episode of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Hell yeah.
Really fascinating woman. So I asked her, did you know, like, be honest, that what you were making with Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was super queer? And she said, truly, I promise you, none of us understood. What we thought we were doing was like an S&M leather kind of Judas Priest version of A Nightmare on Elm Street, which of course Judas Priest is a gay band. But besides that point, like, but it's like, it's sort of code for queerness in a weird way. And not to take anything away from the kink community, but at this time, it's shorthand for
circa 2023. The kink community is like the Venn diagram between that and the queer community is essentially a circle. Like it's sort of the like a rectangle is a square, but a square is not a rectangle kind of thing. Like they very much go hand in hand. I don't think any member of the kink community would be offended to be lumped in with the queer community, like, and vice versa. But the only other film that I can think of that deals with BDSM and leather culture in the way that this movie is borrowing the language of that community on screen to, you know, communicate the themes and ideas of the Cenobites, is William Friedkin's Cruising.
I thought you were going to say Knife Plus Heart, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, that's the only movie that predates Hellraiser that I can think of that deals with that, because like Friedkin treated it like a documentary on like, here's these weird clubs that these dudes are dressing up like cops and fisting each other, and you're like, sure, okay. And obviously that was like heavily protested, and it didn't do very big at the box office, and it has since been like rediscovered and reclaimed.
But to your point, there is a quality to Cruising that feels like the movie is saying, like, isn't this shocking? Like, oh my God. And it doesn't feel like that with Hellraiser, because it feels like an insider is making the movie, you know?
Hellraiser has this feeling of like guiding you by the hand through this. All of the Cenobites are very calm and cool and collected, and they can be like shocking and jarring the first time you see Chatera or something like that. But you want to see more of them. You only get them on screen a little bit. You want to see it like scratches an itch in the back of your head because it's made by someone who understands that desire.
Yeah.
The film desires them and wants to be around them and wants to like, it finds comfort in them the way that you kind of feel that Barker does. And it's a fucking like, it's literally a gateway kink movie.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone in kink who doesn't not just love Hellraiser.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Critical response to this was mixed to positive. Notably, our boy, and I say that ironically, Roger Ebert did not like this movie. He said it.
But the Family Values film critic didn't love Hellraiser?
He's so hard on horror, but then every once in a while there's like one that he just loves out of the blue, and it's so strange. But he called this unimaginative, which I can't imagine. Like,
what?
In the context of 80s horror films, I can't imagine seeing this and thinking that it's unimaginative. It's just so different than anything else on the landscape.
He's famously very wrong. I went through a like YouTube video recently that compiled all of Siskel and Ebert's reviews on Lynch films.
Oh,
and
really?
Every single one is Gene Siskel being like, I like what this guy's doing. He's got some potential. He's doing something interesting. I want to see more of these. And Gene Siskel just being like, he's a mean, awful human being who thinks it's okay to laugh at this stuff. And he's a coward trying to show you scary things and then take it away by making you laugh 2 seconds later. He's an edgelord and he's awful. And I'm like, and then by the time the Mulholland Drive comes out, all of a sudden Roger Ebert is like, I love David Lynch. David Lynch is my best friend. David Lynch is a genius.
Well, there's also, this is worth watching for horror fans on YouTube. They did a special, Roger and Ebert, in the early 80s about slasher films.
Yeah. And why they were like morally opposed to them.
Yeah, they were really worried about it, about the violence against women and the misogyny of it, and like these being so popular with teenagers, and they're kind of like wringing their hands about the whole genre, which I can understand in the context of the time, but I also just don't agree and wouldn't have agreed then. So it's really interesting historically, I guess. But yeah, not a fan of this, or Roger Ebert. It's crazy that he wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which is such a great movie and so sexy and so campy. It just doesn't feel like him at all.
It doesn't. But it feels like him trying to write a Russ Meyer movie.
True.
And in that, I did see that famously when he was working on that with Russ Meyer. Roger Ebert was very like stuffy and kind of like conservative around Russ Meyer, and had like a view of Russ Meyer that was false, but was very like what the public had, that Russ Meyer was some like macho pornographer who was like terrible to everyone all the time. And so he and his like assistant and his production people would make fun of Ebert all the time. And whenever Roger would be coming to the office, he like had his secretary take her top off and just sit at the desk like topless.
That's so funny.
That's so funny. And he would always be very flustered, and like I like dunking on him. I think it's funny.
It is fun.
Anything else? It's fine.
Yeah, he was wrong a lot of the time. Anything else to say about Hellraiser before we move on?
I think it's wonderful, and I think that the sequels that it has spawned are bizarre, to say the least.
Some of them are pretty good.
Is incredible and surpasses the first one, I think, in a lot of ways. Hell on Earth is like what I thought Hellraiser was going to be when I was 14 and had only seen Friday the 13th movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally has a DJ being turned into a Cenobite who has CDs sticking out of his head.
Yeah.
Which is one of the stupidest things I've seen in any movie. But then you get like Pinhead in space, and then you get like the fourth one, which is like a like time jumping adventure with Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, and like they're very, very weird. I will say I did like David Bruckner's Hellraiser from 2021, 2022 quite a bit. I thought Jamie Clayton was incredible as Pinhead. I would love to watch a TV series. I would love to watch like an FX series.
There was one in development, of a Hellraiser show in development, but I remember it was a few years ago now because I was still on Sabrina when the Deadline article came out, so who knows if it's still happening. And I remember reading who the showrunners were and being disappointed, but I can't remember who they were because it was like two straight guys, frankly. And I was like, I don't know.
I would love to see like Noah Hawley, who does Legion and Fargo, take on that for FX or something like that, but keep Jamie Clayton in it and like keep David Bruckner directing or something like that. Like
keep Ryan Murphy far, far, far away.
Keep Ryan Murphy's sticky little fingers away from a Hellraiser. He doesn't understand it. Don't let him play the pink card. It won't get him anywhere.
Yeah. So let's play Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I have somebody in mind. Don't come for me, not you, Drew, because I know that you don't care about this person, but listeners, this is one of my least favorite people. And recently she was talking about how one of her recent albums was like her goth punk album.
Oh, Lord.
So I want to know, do you think Taylor Swift has seen Hellraiser?
Fuck no.
No. No way.
Fuck no. She also understands nothing about goth culture or punk
Of course
culture.
not. Like, step aside, Susie Sue. Here comes Taylor Swift. I just could not design a more boring person than Taylor Swift. She's a pumpkin spice latte turned human.
She is literally like
she's
makes
an
me feel
infinity
like
scarf as a woman. Like
the Coca-Cola Corporation was like, we need to make a human soon, right?
Yeah.
We, as the Coca-Cola Corporation, can make a human being, right? Let's give it a shot.
I can't stand her. Her fans are demented. She's a bully. And I just don't, I reject the whole thing. The whole enterprise.
The single greatest human polluter on the earth. Did you know that?
No.
She is. That it came out like last year or something like that. Because like the whole narrative of like you one person sitting there in Columbus, Ohio, sipping your cola through a straw are ruining the environment. And it's like, no, actually, it's corporations and governments that are ruining the environment. Yeah. You, as a single person, are going to stress yourself out to high heavens to make sure that box is crumpled down enough into the recycling so that your tin cans are washed out enough so they can be recycled so that you can like sleep at night. Meanwhile, it's the fucking corporations that are wrecking things. However, there is one person with that much weight on their shoulders, and it's Taylor Swift. They like crunched the numbers last year, and she pollutes more than some countries.
Just because of like her huge concerts, or
no, it was a year that she wasn't even touring.
Oh, she's just walking around throwing litter on the street, or what? Like
she was like taking private jets to Chipotle.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
she sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's crazy. It reminds me. There's a bit on Kimmy Schmidt where Xanthippe Voorhees gets grounded for hiring a charter helicopter to dry her jeans on the lawn. And it's like, yeah, that's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift definitely has not seen Hellraiser.
Definitely no. Speaking of great goth subculture, especially of the 80s, and speaking of my stepfather who showed me Hellraiser, they're one of his favorite bands, and that he took my mother to go see in concert a few times, is Bauhaus, who if you listen to our podcast, we clearly have no idea about Bauhaus at all, either as an art movement or as a band. We don't know shit about that. We don't know nothing. Do you think Peter Murphy has seen Hellraiser?
I think so. So you?
I feel like
I don't know if he would have seen it like in the theater in 1987, but I feel like he would have seen it at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a Betamax of it circa 1989 or something like that.
Yeah, he's so gothic.
I feel like if, you know, Peter Murphy was on a fucking red carpet and Letterboxd asked him his top 4 favorite movies, it probably wouldn't pop up there, but it might. Like, he's definitely seen it, and I feel like he probably likes it quite a bit.
Me too. Do you think that this is off topic? Do you think that Peter Murphy likes Christmas? Because I'm sorry, I'm looking at a Christmas tree in my reflection. I think he does. And I had to explain to my coworkers who were like, they were surprised that I love Christmas. And they're like, goth people shouldn't like Christmas. It's like, no, you don't understand. Gothic people love Christmas.
Goth people love Christmas because it's pagan.
Yeah, and it's sad actually in the northern hemisphere at least. It's like it's actually quite melancholy and dark. Mm-hmm. It's nighttime and cold and
well, in England too, like ghost stories are very synonymous with Christmas, and like the BBC used to run Christmas ghost like shorts all the fucking time.
They're so good. Those, if you can hunt those down, they're good. Yeah,
yeah. The BFI, I believe, has released a number of them on disc recently. You should definitely track those down.
Yeah.
No, goths love Christmas. Every goth I know, like, they go super hard for Halloween, and then as soon as their Halloween decorations come down, it's fucking reindeers and shit. Like,
yeah. Who else do I want to say? Let me think of somebody else who's contemporary. This person just popped into my head out of the clear blue sky. The rapper problematic favorite, Azalea Banks. Do you think that Azalea Banks has seen this? She's pretty homophobic.
Yeah, she sucks in a number of ways. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say I believe she has seen it. She probably likes it quite a bit. I just don't want to hear Azalea Banks discuss Hellraiser.
No. But bodies.
algorithm is listening to me. don't recommend me that.
But you can show me the music video for 212 because Bodies, Bodies, Bodies really reminded me what a banger that was. But it's only one good song.
It's not enough.
Yeah, so we think Azalea is a yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Let me think of someone else contemporary. I mean, do you think Charlie XCX has seen Hellraiser?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so. I love Charlie XCX. She's like more on the alt side of like the pop girlies. And for that reason, I think she's a yes.
Yeah. It's very like, it's a lot easier to play this game with this than say like some Elo de la Gracia movies.
Right.
Because like Hellraiser is like famous. You can find like knockoffs of it at Spirit Halloween, and it like was on Netflix for years. Like most people have.
Totally. If you ask me, has Lauren Boebert seen Hellraiser? I'd be like, probably. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, so the one that I was going to ask is because, again, like in the same way that you brought up Taylor Swift, like I'm not intending to be controversial. I know this person's in the news a lot right now. I'm not trying to pick sides, even though there is one side that is clearly correct and one side that is committing a genocide. Do you think Netanyahu has seen Hellraiser?
Drusilla, this is dangerous territory.
I don't give a fuck.
I know that you don't. BB Netanyahu, that's his nickname. Did you know that? I almost named Edie BB, and my friend was like, don't name her BB because that's Benjamin Netanyahu's nickname. And I was like, oh God, okay, stay away. No, I don't think he has seen Hellraiser. I think he's like too old and, just too conservative.
He seems moralizing in the way that, like, if, like, he was, like, walking down the street and past a, like, movie theater that was doing, like, a rep screening of Hellraiser and just seeing the title, I feel like he would, like, turn his nose at it or something.
He'd be like, what a shame, what is the world coming to? And then go on committing genocide. So,
yeah.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
You're absolutely correct. And if you disagree with us, you can go jump into a river.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Listen, that's it for this episode of Bloodhouse. If you loved it, please rate it 5 stars wherever listening to podcasts. Please don't give us 1 star for Israel Palestine. Or do, I don't care. You can email us.
You can also go donate to Gaza relief funds. You can also go hit up your local representatives to demand a ceasefire.
Yes. You can email us your hate mail at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.